Now I am pleased to introduce our second speaker. Sanz is PhD candidate in the art, production and research program in the Polytechnic University of Valencia, Master in Technology and Knowledge Management, music education degree, and co-author of almost all the publications on the Veronese canvas, 8 of 9. She has several national and international publications on the topics we are dealing with from 25 years ago: music and evolution, neuroscience and ancient musicology. Penelope participated in all their 150 conferences imparted during the last years. Penelope maintains the webpage www.theweddingatcana.org for organization. Her doctoral thesis relates musicological and iconographical topics to Veronese's famous canvas. And now, Penelope's title of co-presentation today is Giorgio da Castelfranco in Veronese's Wedding at Cana, Technical Analysis of 5-Chain Consort.
Good morning. We want to thank the 16th Century School Conference, and particularly Duval Friedman and the audience for paying attention to our work. As Professor Manuela Farga showed yesterday, we can offer up to 3 direct sources supporting the proposals we will here. First one, the multiple changes performed on the canvas, according this to Benedetto Guidi. Second one, Giorgione's presence according Jean-Baptiste Colbert. And finally, 3, the presence in the cell of a previous modello owned by Girolamo Grimani is according to Henry Frederick Hall. The target of this talk are the 3 ensembles over the central line. The mutations from the original consort, which was introduced yesterday by Lafarga, are 3 transformations of the musical ensemble are related to Giorgione, including the first one, with Hughes, second consort, which still preserved the atmosphere for the musical rites of the Venetian funerals. It can be appreciated how the inverted harpsichordist generated Titian onwards, up to the late arrival of the Gothic in the current ensemble, the recent ensemble now, which will not be detailed here because it has been object of several previous publications. Paolo displays his second and third positions after strengthening up himself as a harpsichordist in the original consort. The third one, illustrated with his face here, will not be assumed in the second violin band or for consort, as we will show below. His left arm, as the previous Paolo II in green, shows alike its 2 positions for the 2 consecutive lutes. The upper one will be transferred later to his brother to hold the miraculous wine, while the lower one is the suitable for the second consort. The upper position was already introduced for Padre Manuel yesterday, belonging to an intermediate ensemble in between the first consort and that we are dealing with here, the second consort. Paolo's right hand is a future Tintoretto's one, to sustain his bow for his own 2 violin positions, to the neck first and and later to the shoulder. Alike for his ultimate viola soprano, or Consort 5. This torso is the current one of his brother Benedetto. Tintoretto and Titian will occupy the current positions on wards, just switching the instruments for violins and finally for violas tarante. Violas tarante. Next, we will show the emergence of these designs over the campus radiographies. 1. Veronese. 2. Giorgione. 3. Tintoretto. And finally, Titian. During this pulse ensemble, Giorgione is still silent because the posthumous homage is still present aligned with lute's medieval sound. Even if the Cantabile di Morti did not survive to this first mutation. Giorgione keeps, in addition, a double ascendance over his allied colleagues, one pictorial, two musical, due to his legendary skills on lute. Tintoretto left fingers over the neck of his soprano lute are complementary in an inverted way to his future right fingers while holding the bow of his second violin in the second violin band or Consort 4. Titian's lute, perhaps, was not depicted because the probable transition to the next ensemble, the first violin band or Consort 3. The design of Paolo III playing viola has been molded to show his true position while the lute's consort, however, not his suitable left arm, as we are already mentioned. His crossed leg, left over right, are also were displaced from the current stool contour to that we are shown in blue. The same design molding in the background to show the silhouettes included inside the features. Remember that Paolo's lute belongs to an intermediate formation, Consort 1B. It is not suitable instrument for the second consort. This is the variation of Jorge Camarero with the same first Paolo left arm. From the fact that the current Benedetto Cagliari left arm is holding the miraculous wine, it is obvious that it cannot belong to this ensemble. Notice please the Paolo's arm rotation in addition to the displacement of his legs to a more advanced position. This is the recreation of Jorge Camarero. In the true second consort, Giorgione displays a silent attitude. Veronese holds his second lute with his second left arm. This is, in fact, his own left arm currently to the viola da gamba. Evidently, all examples were cartoons. The two left viola arms, the first one for the miraculous wine, and the second for the ultimate tenor viola, and Tintoretto's right hand. First, pressing the strings for both Paolo's lutes, and later holding the bow for his own violins, unlike his soprano viola. Next, we will show the first violin band or three consort over radiographies. This so unusual ensemble, according to multiple sources, shows 3 sopranos and 1 bass violin. Veronese remains in his second position as Paolo II, the same position while holding his two lutes. However, now he holds a soprano violin on his lap. Instead, Giorgione become part of the ensemble as an active musician, holding his first violin. This instrument evidently prevented the presence of a future trombonist monk in the next violin consort. Tintoretto holds his first violin on neck. You can see the darker band currently visible over the flank of Titian's instrument that defines the boundary of his bass violin. We have duplicated his current right arm contour to show that it just needs to be displaced to fit in his bass violin. Of course, the body of the instrument represented here is small. There are no brass instruments in this ensemble. The trombone appears in the next one. When Giorgione rotates his violin pointing to the floor, the hidden trumpet behind Veronese does not exist because he himself is still in his ubication as Paolo II, just one hair behind the current one. We are showing the current Paolo's molding as violinist again to place the silhouettes under him. Finally, we may appreciate the field consort by Jorge Camarero. We are showing both violin bands overlapping. The more distant Tintoretto's right hand is the same for his second violin hand as for the ultimate Cama ensemble with Ortiz. The upper Titian's hand is that from the current consort, while the other one is the same from both violin bands. The rotation of Giorgione's violin, which we are suggesting here, can be appreciated whenever he sustained an instrument as active player. In Consort 3, he must do alike in Consort 4. Even if, as was probably the case for Titian's lute, it could have never been depicted because the mutation to the ultimate viola da gamba ensemble. First time, we will show the violin band silhouette over radiographies. Titian's and Tintoretto's instrument suffer scarce modification. Contrabass is the same for the two violin bands. While Tintoretto's soprano has moved from neck to shoulder position. Here is the silhouette of his ultimate soprano viola, to show that it was the same design for both cases. While Titian's bass violin did enable to see the upper body of his wall instrument, which was tangent to Titian's instrument cover. And finally, the addition of the trombonist monk and the U-shaped trumpet behind Veronese. Conversely, Paolo and Giorgione's instrument do exhibit some new mutations. Veronese has advanced to what will be his ultimate position, Paolo III, even after the late arrival of Diego, holding a violin oriented to the floor. We think this is a tenor violin, so this instrument has a long neck. The instrument now is sustained by the hand at the top in green. The molding of the current Veronese allows to observe all these elements, including the harpsichord here, which have not hidden till the arrival of Ortiz. By the other hand, the new George Jones violin pointing to the floor, this is how it descends, enables the emergence of a trombone or saput. This new instrument is played by a monk who does not fit with the golden cornetist. That is, they represent two different characters. The original harpsichord here, as La Farga showed yesterday, was finished from the very beginnings, alike both the upper balcony and the presence of Giorgione in all the ensembles till the late arrival of the Ortiz. This is the wall for Consort, on top of silhouettes drawn by Veronese. It had been recreated for Jorge Camarero, following our own descent. Next, my partner Jorge Camarero is going to introduce you the techniques and materials for his artistic recreation of the 4 previous concerts with Giorgione till the Pure one with Ortiz. Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for assist, we appreciate that. So I'm here to explain you a little of the process I follow to reproduce the images that Penelope presented, has just presented. Here you can see me, sorry. Here you can see me painting in Photoshop, that is of course a digital medium. When at first Manuel asked to me to reproduce the images, I know on that moment that digital medium were the most useful and nimble, agile medium to use, because in the process there are a lot of cut and paste technique. Okay, as the characters that are original in the Veronese's canvas are used in the other images. Okay, so yeah, digital medium is I think is the best for that case. And yeah, you can see me painting here in Photoshop. I firstly started on Procreate, which is a fantastic application for the iPad. Okay, but the work gets bigger as I started to add the layers and layers and layers. So there was a time that the processing power of the iPad was not enough. Then I had to switch to my computer. Okay. And then about the techniques I use, there was two mainly. That the first one was, as I mentioned, cutting and paste a character or any item of the original canvas, and then transformate it or rotate it and using it to the next image, okay, or the consort that I reproduce. Yeah, and the next technique I used was just painting or creating a whole character or a whole instruments. Okay, yeah, I had to paint it entirely. Okay. Here we can see, for example, that cover work that I mentioned. For example, here I am painting the table tapestry because the Tiziano's hand has been moved, okay, above. So in the gap that moved left, I had to paint inside, okay. And yeah, that is pretty much the work I did. It was I enjoyed it a lot. It was very funny, and I should say that one of the more tricky things that I did, that I needed to make, is to reproduce the original texture of the canvas, okay? And that is somewhat difficult. And there was some digital process that helped me a lot. And I should mention that I use one digital brush that I borrow from a US artist that he's Mark Brunet. I don't know if you know him. That helped me a lot just to recreate the original texture. Okay, this texture you can see here is not only the texture of the canvas, the original canvas, it's also the texture of the picture of the canvas. So it has a little grain that is somewhat difficult to reproduce. Okay, but I think the overall work is fine. Is fine. The thing with the texture is that it's very important. Not only lighting is very important. It's also the texture, because if you don't reproduce well the texture, then the objects or the characters that you are painting, then they don't look integrate on the painting, on the canvas. So it was important. Okay. So I don't know. I think I don't have much to say. And then if you have any question about the process, I will